I did a video yesterday covering one of the many meltdowns from mainstream media, and I knew there was going to be a lot more. This one is probably the best one that I've seen so far. I knew, especially waking up today and seeing even more Supreme Court decisions that goes against the leftist talking points, that goes against a lot of the mainstream media, such as CNN and MSNBC. Yesterday, we had a glorious one from MSNBC. Today, we have a even better one, in my opinion, from CNN. Here is an article from Blaze. It says, CNN host abruptly ends segment when guest whips out the facts about affirmative action's impact on Asian students. Let's check out this clip here, and then we'll go over some reactions.
Kenny, can I ask you though? I mean, colleges, obviously they care about grades and SAT scores, but they also are filling universities of people, human beings who have other factors that they bring to the table. Why is it not okay for them to consider those things?
I'm saying if you're going to consider those things, you should consider them without respect to race.
Sure.
So as you know, a lot of Asian Americans.
I think that that's exactly right. But socioeconomic status doesn't. If you take race out of it, let's call it socioeconomic status, where whether or not they grew up wealthy or poor, is that not something that colleges might have an interest in considering?
The reason why you shouldn't consider that is because you should consider the success of an applicant. Because of affirmative action, Black Americans graduate from law school at the bottom 25% of their classes, largely speaking. And we don't want that. We want Black students to succeed. We want every student to succeed, low-income students to succeed. But you have to put them in scenarios, in places where they're likely to succeed. And lowering your standard to admit somebody of a socioeconomic status or race would not help them do that. In fact, it would harm their graduation rate and excellence.
Yeah, not only would that harm the actual student, but that would harm the institutions that those students are being admitted to as well. It's going to overall lower the IQ. It's going to overall lower the quality of the entire institution. We're seeing that with the military. Lowering the bar for people to get into the military just so you can get more women into the military ended up backfiring because I believe, and I'm not 100% sure on this, but I actually believe that the Supreme Court ruled against having different standards for men versus women. So what did they do? They didn't go back to the old standard. They didn't go back to the standard for men. They went down. They lowered the bar to everybody can get into the military using the standard that they had for women so that they can continue to get those women into the military. So what that ended up doing over time was actually lower the standard of the military, lower the quality of the military overall. Not just set those people up who were getting into the military with this really low bar for failure. Not only did it do that, but it also lowered the quality and the value of the entire institution. And it's no different with these colleges. You're putting these students in there just simply because of their skin color, who don't belong there, who don't belong in law school, but because they need to fulfill a quota, they put unqualified students, unprepared students in these, in law school or in accounting school, whatever it is, and they end up failing out. The success rate of these people, as you can see on the screen here, and as this person's about to say, is just really low. So it's unfair for everyone, man. It's unfair for the people who earned it. It's unfair for the students who are getting it without earning it. And it's unfair to the overall institution.
Well, as the case also points out, the standard isn't necessarily lowered because students are all admitted.
Yes, it is. Like, what are you talking? Yes, it is.
The question is whether race can be an added consideration, a tipping point in some of these cases.
The standard is lowered. The standard is lowered as the student permit admissions data.
Right as soon as he says the standard is lowered, she knows that she has lost. She probably thought about it in her head and she was like, yeah, actually the standard was lowered. So whenever she says Kenny right there, that's her trying to end the segment, but the guy doesn't stop talking and she ends up ending the segment as soon as he's done with this small statement.
It shows an Asian has to score 273 points higher on the SAT to have the same chance of admission as a Black person. So the standard is lowered for Black Americans.
Kenny Xu, thank you for your perspective. We really appreciate you joining us today.
She tried to end the segment so many times while he was talking, man. I wish he could have talked a little bit longer because I'm sure he had a lot more facts to give out. But that little fact right there just completely obliterates her whole argument. And as soon as she realized that she was even a little bit wrong, she was like, yeah, you know what, let's just end the segment, move on. I'm sure they were in her ear telling her, yeah, get out, abort mission. You're wrong. You look stupid, because this person has all of the stats and all, everything, all the logic and reason behind him. and she just has the feelings. My feelings are hurt. I feel like this should be the case. It doesn't matter what could, should, or would. It matters what is. And this person, Kenny Zhu, I don't know how to say his last name, I'm sorry, but this person has all of that, all of what is behind him, all of the statistics. Let me know what you're thinking about all of these media outlets having complete meltdowns over these Supreme Court decisions. I love it, man. It's glorious to me. And like I said, man, every time I wake up and there's a bunch of positive Supreme Court decisions, not only is it Christmas because it's, it's better for the country, but it's also, we get Christmas twice a day because now we get to watch all of these people have absolute meltdowns over affirmative action, over the debt relief plan that got shot down, all of that stuff. Let me know what you're thinking about everything that's going on here.